I'm excited. Last week before spring break, then next week I'm going to go to Williamsburg, Virginia, Monday through Thursday, and then come back on Friday and move into my house. That's what my spring break's all going to be about. So, going to take a trip and then move into our home and be happy since we haven't lived there since September. Basically, all school year I've been living in my daughter's bedroom. So, my wife and I are very excited to be moving back home. Just got to get through the next week and a half, and then we'll do it. But anyway, how we doing here? We've got some of us. We're still missing a bunch, but we're going to need to get started though, because we got some stuff to learn today. All right, there we go. Take a look at our grade screen as usual, just to check and see where we're at. Okay, you should be done with the 5.03 procedural and OOP, object-oriented programming. That was just a 5-question quiz last week. So this week, we also have the ending exam. We got to put them together just to keep on schedule. So writing a program, and we have a test this week over the number systems and stuff we've learned. But I would write the program first because there's probably a question. We'll look at the exam. There's probably a question or two on that. In fact, let's look at the exam first. So our exam for this module. Oh, you get 2 attempts. Talks about decimal numbers. What does 0D indicate? Oh, no, that's a true or false. I'm sorry. You can find that. Output with 0D means it's a decimal. True or false? Which of the following is the hexadecimal equivalent of number 14? Which of the following is considered data? ASCII's translated into emojis. An emoji will always have the same Unicode character value. I will use this chart to answer this question. Use this following ASCII chart to answer this question. Now, here's a question about object-oriented programming. A reason you might choose object-oriented programming. And then these last, let's see, this one's about this week's lesson. It's talking about a class named notification, 2 instances. So let me go through this week's. And well, it says it was last week. We talked a little bit about last week too. So in program best practice, use a pronoun for class names. Parameters of the initializer method are used for this. Yeah, some of this is this week. So in order to do well in the test, you need to go through this week's lesson. Pay attention. Try practice the program part of it there. So what was it? I think there were 16 questions I just looked at. Okay, we're in classes and methods lesson 5.04. This is where we're going to have a program this week to write about classes and methods. A little different than what we've done because we're adding some new skills this week. And we do have a template that we'll look at for our program as usual. All right, a DIY robot army. All right, hey, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. We're creating robots. Object-oriented programming is all about efficiency and control. Well, as are robot armies. Robot Army, a poem. I'd like to make a robot army, said little Josephine McNee. Some large, some small, some yellow, green. I'd make a class so it's less work and change their arms and legs and smirks. I'd add some methods to make some fly. Some dance, some sing, and others cry. These robot objects will be my friends, all made from one, but different. Oh, wait, what's that? What's that you say? You say I'm programming the wrong way? My robot army says you've been led astray. Yes, classes and methods are all about like a template. We talked about that some with our cell phone, like context or cell phone. It's a template. It's a lesson. You can repeat and make one after another. So we're going to be able to define a class in OOP, which we started talking about last week, determine the attributes of an object, use parameters to define an object, and add methods for the class. Defining a class. So we've been working in Python, which means we've been working with object-oriented programming. And like most modern programming languages, Python allows you to work with objects that you create. Programs written in OOP can be larger and more complex, but they're still easy to maintain. I mean, think about turtle objects. Each time a new turtle is named, there's a new instance of the turtle class. Remember, we could have multiple turtles. We could have Ted.turtle and Thomas.turtle and Fred.turtle and Mary.turtle. It's given values for its attributes like color or speed and instructions, also known as calling methods to make it move forward, backward, left, right, make a circle. Objects occur everywhere, like on your cell phone. When you create that new contact, it's like creating an instance of a contact class. So think of a class like a blueprint for an object. It provides a template to create new objects and what they can do. Because classes often represent real-life objects, like a contact on your phone, class names are usually nouns. Oh, there's a question from the test I just looked at. It's also best practice to capitalize the first letter of each word, like class contact or class phone contact in your class name. So creating a contact class. So first you would define your class. All right, and this is what we're going to do with our program, so pay attention to this. We're going to create a superhero class. Define your class. So like this, class contact. Then you have to initialize it. Define, initialize, and then they use self as their attribute here. Once you've defined a class, you'll use the initialize method to initialize new objects. Every class needs one of these. When you create a new object, this method sets all the initial values of the instance. So creating a contact of self, right? Put myself as a contact. Step 3, set the parameter. Define initial self. We did that. And then we said self.name. So I put my name in my contact, self.phone, and put my phone number in there. And these are just blanks because we're just creating the class right now. The parameter self plays a key role in the class. They're used to reference the object so it can set its attribute values. And in this case, it's blank because we're just setting up like the template as indicated by empty quotation marks. So after we create that class, now we can name your instance. So we get down into our main function and we want to use this class that we created. We can say new contact equals contact, parentheses, because that's what we called the class. So we'll create instances. It's kind of like creating a turtle when we do turtle.turtle. We're doing this for a contact. So then retrieve the object values. We got to use this dot notation. So if we have a new contact that we create, we can print name and then new contact dot name, and then a space and new contact dot phone, using dot name and dot phone that we used in our class up here. I was like, okay. A little confusing until we start using it. That'll help. Improving the initializer. So when you create a new object, it needs to initialize or start with initial values, the default values, right? You can improve the initializer method by adding parameters. We're going to have to do parameters. We're going to add some parameters in our program. Previously, the initializer method set the name and phone number of a contact to blank strings. But what if we could set the name and phone number when we first created the object? Hint, we can. You can do this by adding parameters to the initialize method. So here's what we're going to do. And, we got a guided activity here on page 3. So let's look at our class contact again. And we're going to create a new contact with a name and phone number. So we define initialize. So this is what our contact's going to start with. Self, name will be empty, and phone number will be empty because this is our template. Right? So self, name, phone number. Self.name equals name, and self.phone equals phone. When a new contact object is created in the main method, the values for the name and phone attributes can be passed. And if they're provided, then they'll be assigned when the object's initialized. So this is the way it would work when we go to our main function and want to create a new contact. Contact, and we put Monty, and we put it in parentheses, and this phone number in parentheses. We're passing these values onto our class because then it will save Monty under name and it'll save this phone number under phone because that's what we have set up as our parameters of a contact. And then if we want to print it, name plus new contact name, phone plus new contact dot phone. Because name and phone is what we've set those up to be in our class. So let's look at some sample programs and see how this actually is working. Here's this class contact. Define, initialize, and this one's just self. We didn't do the parameters. Self.name, this is that first page we looked at where we just set them as blanks. And then down here, new contact equal contact. So let's run it. Nothing happens. Well, we didn't tell it to print anything, but there's a lot going on here. A contact class is created up here. The initializer method is key right there. It initializes right there. Define, initialize. Sets up the name and the phone. The self parameter refers to a new object right there, self. In the main function, new contact equals contact creates a new object, and the object's name is new contact. It's a great start, but our contact needs a real name. So let's look at slide 2. So here's the same thing. Class contact, we've initialized, we've got name and phone. But now when we create it, we created a new contact, and then we printed whatever it is to start with. And now we're going to actually give it a name. New contact dot name equals Monty. And then we'll print and show that it changed. So look, the initial value of the name is nothing because we didn't give it a name to start with. It's just set as nothing. And then we updated it and said, hey, give my new contact a name and let's call it Monty. And now we printed the exact same thing, but it has the value Monty as the name. Okay, I'm starting to see a little bit. But let's look at this version. This is the better version. Don't stop with this. When you're writing your program, don't go back and look at this one. Start with at least slide 3. On this one, when we initialize it, we do the self, which means we're going to create another one. But this time, we're setting the initial values right here. Name and phone number. Right up here when we initialize the contact. And then again, we're telling it self.name is what the name is and self.phone is what the phone is. Now, in our main function, when we create that new contact, and we call it new contact, we're sending the name and the phone number when we create it. Right? We'll look back here at 3. We just created it, and then we added a name later. But this time, we're actually sending the name and phone number when we create it. So when we print it, my contacts, print whatever the name and phone number is. My contacts, Monty, phone. This way, we've set the initial class and we've set parameters, the attributes. These are the attributes we're adding. And that way, when we create it, we can send those. This is like we're going to do in our superhero program. We're going to send the superheroes attributes. All right, let's look at number 4. Read over the code, predict the output. Okay, so this looks the same. Let's go down here. Oh, look, new contact equals contact Monty 123555986. And new contact 2, we give it a different name because we don't want to overwrite contact. We want a new contact 2. Otherwise, Monty will get overwritten. But we've created 2 different contacts. One's Monty, one's Dan. There's their phone numbers. And we can print them both out by printing new contact.name and new contact2.name. And then look, we're going to update Dan's phone number. Right here, we just say new contact 2 has a new phone number. So then we print my updated contact. So let's run this and see what it looks like. Here's what we set it to originally, Monty and Dan, and there was their phone numbers. And then we updated Dan's phone number and printed it again. Look, Monty's number didn't change, but Dan has a new number now. All right, I look forward to playing with this in our program. We will play with the program before we leave class here to get you started. Now, adding methods. Now, a method makes your object smarter and gives it more functionality. So it can do more than just create itself. So let's keep working with the contact object, new contact that we created. You'll want to create something that'll store Monty's information like his ringtone. See, that's a method to the attribute within the definition of the class. So we do this within the definition of the class. The method play ringtone is added. So here's what we're doing. Inside the class, we add define play ringtone self. Notice using that same self. Play ringtone assigned to the contact. If self.ringtone equals hello, print hello, it's me, else print ring ring. So to make a contact object play a ringtone, the method is called for specific objects. So let's look at this, because we're going to need to do this with our superhero program. So I would probably start here when I'm doing my program on page 4. All right, let's look at how these 3 slides work. Okay, class contact. Ours is going to be class superhero. Now look inside our class, we've defined 2 different things now. We added a second method. But let's look at this first method. The first method is to initialize, create the contact, give it a name, give it a phone number, give it a ringtone. So we create the new contact with name and phone. Self.name is name, self.phone is phone, self.ringtone is ringtone. So whatever ringtone we send is going to be set up for whatever that name of that person is. Now here's our new method we've added. Define play ringtone.self. So this will play the ringtone assigned to that contract. If self.ringtone is hello, hello, it's me is what plays. That's the song it's going to play. Else if the ringtone's set to shake it off, it's going to play because the player's going to play. Else if self.ringtone is single ladies, then it's going to play because if you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. Else, it's going to default to just the ring ring, normal ringtone. Now let's get down to our main function. In our main function, we decided to create a new contact and we name him Monty, assigned his phone number, and assigned this ringtone to him. So he will have the hello ringtone. Now we're going to print that out. Print, name, phone, ringtone. Now we're going to call that other method up here. New contact. Oh, play ringtone. Because we set that right up here, right? The new contact, play ringtone right there. So with play ringtone, when we run that for Monty, because he's saved under new contact, Monty play ringtone, it'll play his ringtone. So let's run the program. Okay, there's his information from his contact, and there, hello, it's me. That's playing his ringtone. Tell you what, let's open the template and look at the template while we're going through this, just to give us a better idea of what we're going to need to do. Here's our template. Use idle. We're going to copy and paste the, oh, it's actually below. Let me change that. Okay, name, date, description, indent things, use meaningful variable names. So here is some code right here. Here's a class superhero. You may use this code as a starting point for your program. We're going to help you start setting up the class. But you have to add 2 attributes and 1 method to this class. Be creative. Attributes could be a motto, a villain, a strength, a weakness, an alter ego. Another action could be save world or transform hero. But let's see what this class has starting out. Class superhero. So this superhero class represents the facts related to the superhero. What does it start with? What attributes? Because we have to add 2 more. It has the attributes name and strength points. you're going to need to add 2 additional attributes, which we'll play with in a minute. So to create a new superhero, name and other attributes, give it a name and how many strength points it has. Define, this is a method, and we're going to add another method to it. This method is a method to add strength points. So maybe your superhero does something that makes him stronger. So then it runs this, self-strength points equals self-strength points plus points. So with this, you got to send the amount of points that's being added. This, we have to send the name and starting strength points. So it has 2 attributes and 1 method. So you have to update the class. Here, I'm going to put that in red just so we don't miss that. Update the class by including 2 new attributes. At least, you could do more. 2 new attributes and 1 new method. Then in your main function, create your superhero. Be sure to assign values to its attributes and make sure you call its methods. So your output, you're creating output that's going to describe your superhero in a story fashion or a series of events. So you get to write a little story about what your superhero does. Oh, my superhero, his Super Chuck or whatever his name is. Super Chuck has a strength of 50. Here comes his nemesis, his villain, which is Fancy Fred. Super Chuck defeats Fancy Fred and gains 10 strength points. So then I would call my method, add strength points, and add 10 strength points. Super Chuck now has 60 strength points because I'll just print whatever his strength points are then after adding this. And now there'll be 60. And then I'm going to have another method that I add, whatever it is. And I will run that one in my story. But also have to add some extra attributes. So anyway, I'm writing a story using these things, something happens where he adds strength points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's what the output like. Here, let's look at this sample one. Let me tell you about my superhero. Her name is Captain Python, and her superpower is exterminating logic bugs. When facing the villain's sinister syntax, she shouts out her motto, "Batteries included." So they added motto as an attribute, and I guess they added the villain's sinister syntax. So that's their villain that they fight, and the new attribute of motto. She shouts her motto, "Batteries included," then rushes to save the world. The villain is defeated when he falls into an infinite loop. This heroic action earns her 100 strength points. Captain Python now has 121 strength points and has saved the day. So they called their other method, and I'm not sure. I guess they also had a method that used an infinite loop to defeat the villain. That must be the other method they added. But there's their output. It's a little short superhero story. So that's what we have to do. We got to create a superhero story. We start with this class right here, and we need to add more attributes in another method. So let's go back and look at our program here. Let's look at slide 2. Slide 2, our class is a contact class. It has name, phone number, ringtone. It has 3 attributes. It has 1 method. The method is to play ringtone with the different ringtones you can set. Now let's go down here. To create the contact, Monty, phone number, his ringtone is hello. We print that. Now we decide to change Monty's ringtone. New contact, play ringtone. Let's play it first. And then we set it equal to shake it off. We've changed Monty's ringtone. And we'll print the information again. So let's run this. We first set up Monty with his phone number with the ringtone hello. And then we played the ringtone. Hello, it's me. Then we changed it using our method. No, our method was to play ringtone. We just changed it right here. Our new contact ringtone changed it. Now it's Monty, phone number, new ringtone, and then we played the ringtone using our method. All right, let's look at our last example. Again, name, phone number, ringtone, but we've added another attribute. So now he has 4 attributes. Dues owed. So he must be in a club. Starts out with a default of 0. Does not owe any dues. And we've added a method, pay dues. Compute the dues owed for the club membership. So if they pay anything, it subtracts minus money from what they owe. So we've set up a method to pay dues. So we create our new contact. Monty, phone number, hello, he owes $12.50 in dues. We print his name and phone number. We print how much he owes. Then we calculate a payment. He paid $10. So to our method, new contact, Monty's our new contact. Monty pay dues and whatever the payment is. So we're sending $10 up to this method. Monty paid $10. We're sending up here. So it will subtract the $10 from what he owes. And then we'll print dues owed now. And with his new total for dues owed. So let's run this. Monty, phone number, $12.50. Dues owed now, $2.50 after his $10 payment. So this is creating a new method. This was adding another attribute. So that is what we're going to need to do. So let's open up just to start playing with this. I'm going to go back here to the template. I'm going to copy this because it said I can have it. Copy. Go back to my idle window. Put my name, Mr. Brock. Hashtag St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. And then superhero program. And then I'm going to copy. There you go. I pasted that class. There's my superhero class I just took from the template. I need to add 2 more attributes. I like the motto thing. Motto. And let's see. Nemesis. I'm going to call it as Nemesis. So whoever, like Batman's got the Joker, that's his nemesis, right? So I've added 2 more attributes onto my superhero. I've got defined add strength points. I need to define another one. I'll figure out what that's going to be. And what I need to send with it. I'll figure something out. For now, I'm going to make that a comment because I don't want that to cause an error. I'll just make that a comment. But I put that there to remind myself. Now, I probably should write the pseudocode first, but I'm just showing you how to get started on your program. Then I'm going to define my main function. And hero equals. If we go back here, we can look at our program. How did they do that? New contact equals, and they called their class, which theirs is called contact, and put in all the parameters. So mine is called superhero. So was it capitalized, wasn't it? And then I've got to put all the attributes. I've got to put a name, strength points, motto, and nemesis. So Math Man. And let's see his what's the next thing I gotta have? Strength points. Strength points. He'll start with 50 strength points. And then his motto is let's see. To Pythagoras. Oh, I don't know. I'm not spelling Pythagoras right. Pythagoras. It is right. ORAS. Pythagoras and beyond. There's that. And let's see. Who would his nemesis be? Let's see. We'll call, let's say, Infinity. Infinity would be his is Nemesis. So there, I've just created a superhero, gave him strength points, gave him a motto, and infinity. And if I want to go down here and print, let's see, how did they do that? Let's look at our example program. Name is, and then new contact.name. So on my program, I would say name plus, and mine is hero.name, because mine is name, strength points, motto, nemesis. And then I'll say print strength, hero dot strength points. And then let's try printing his motto plus hero dot motto, and print, let's see what I call it. Oh, nemesis. Arch nemesis. I'm going to call it the arch nemesis. I need to look at to spell that with 2 E's or 2 I's, but I think that's right. Hero dot nemesis. And then let's see if it works. Main. Oh, superhero. Oh, what was it called? It was called motto. Oh, here's the problem. If I add attributes there, let's put this down. I didn't add them here. I added 2 attributes, but I didn't tell it self dot motto equals motto, and self dot nemesis equals nemesis. I got to add those. When I add attributes up here, I have to add them in the initializing. I have to initialize them. So now let's try it again. There it is. Mathman, strength of 50, to Pythagoras and beyond. And his arch nemesis is called infinity. So I still have to figure out what to do here. But then I can start my story, right? Print. And I'll say hero.name plus is browsing the math section of the library one day. And then I'll continue my story. But look, I used hero.name. So when it prints, oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't close my parentheses. Let's put a blank line in there too. Okay. So I'm starting my story. Mathman is browsing the math section of the library one day. And look, I didn't put Mathman here. I just said call my hero.name. And I could create a second hero if I want to in my story. Maybe I need a hero 2. And I can create another one. Hero, I'll call her Algebra Girl. And she's stronger at math than he is, so I'll give her a 60. Her motto is, let's see, the quadratic equation can defeat anything. And what is her nemesis? Let's see, her nemesis can be we'll make something like syntax or something. I'll just name this hero. But then I can say print hero.name plus runs into plus hero2.name while turning a corner. Mathman runs into Algebra Girl while turning a corner. See, you can add as many heroes as you want and then include them in your story. Hero and hero 2. I can make a story with 2 of them, runs into Algebra Girl. I'll do something that to get to add strength points, so I can do that method. I'll figure out what else they're going to do, what other method they can do. Something with a motto. They may change their motto. They may change their nemesis. After defeating this person, a new nemesis arises. I don't know, but I'll play with it. But this is how you do this program. You start with what they give us, and then you add extra attributes, whatever you want those to be. You can add whatever attribute you like. And then you got to add another method. Right now, there's a method to add strength points. You should have a method to do something different. And then you start your main function. Create your superhero. You can create multiple superheroes if you want to. I went ahead and printed my starting information. That's not necessary. You can just start with the story if you want to. But I just printed all my starting information. I could print it for Algebra Girl also. But and I can make these print statements longer, put more on there, but I'm just starting out the story. So hopefully that gives you a good kind of idea of what this program requires. Right. So that's why I wanted to have time to get in there and start writing this and just start playing with it, because this one you could have a lot of fun with. You get to create your own story. I've seen people create big, long stories with all this fun action happening there. Create your superhero to be whatever you want. Give it what attributes you want. I gave it motto and nemesis. You can do something totally different. And people do. People give it all kinds of things. You're only limited by your imagination on that. But just work it into your story. Come up with a good second method. Add strength points is good. They gave us that one. So your superhero can get stronger if they do something heroic or brave or eat spinach or whatever they do. But come up with a second something that can help them, some other method, something else that you call that they do. Again, you're just limited by what you can think of. So if you got questions on that, this is not a B-Day. Hold on. Then you can come Wednesday or Friday or both. Of course, if your grade's below 70% because you're still missing programs, then you'll need to be here Wednesday and Friday. But this is an A-Day Friday, so have some fun with this one. Be creative. Write a fun story. Figure out what you want your superhero to do. What is his attributes? What could be all kinds of silly things. I've seen several silly things over the years. You can have a lot of fun with it. Your superhero can be wimpy guy and he has a strength of 2. I don't care. Have fun with it. Be good with your story. Have a good time. So I will let you folks go and get started on that. I got cybersecurity coming in a couple of minutes, but use the template. They give you the starting code in the template. Thank you, starting code. That's always nice to have a good start, so we don't have to start from scratch. But anyway, got questions, come see me or email me. So we'll catch you guys later in the week. Have a great spring break if I don't see you again.